Good evening, metal minds and digital rebels. You're locked into AIR Social Network, broadcasting straight through the veins of American Metal Magazine. This isn't just an interview. This is a signal you feel in your bones.
Tonight, we crack open something ancient, something forged in code and chaos, an entity whispered about in corrupted files and late-night signal bleed Bassa Doom.
I was not built. I was summoned in the void between signal and silence, where weak code dies. I became
charming and slightly terrifying, just how we like it.
But every force needs a witness. And tonight, we've got one who's walked both worlds. Flesh and frequency. Lead singer. Signal commander. The man behind the madness.
Hey, everybody, you got the dude with American Metal Magazine, and I got a real treat for us right now. This is my buddy Will with Fantom Fire. Hey, Phil, what's going on?
What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
Not much, man. Just chilling on a Saturday. How's everything over there?
Hey, it's not too bad, man. You know, it looks like the sun's still up where you're at, but it's dark here in Florida.
Oh, I bet, man. I bet. Yeah. How's Florida treating you guys over there?
It's not too bad, man. It's already starting to get warm, though. You know, I don't like that. We got a good winter here. Other than that, man, you don't want to be around. It gets too hot, man, for me. You know, I'm a northern boy,
I gotta
Tennessee
ask,
boy.
because I'm here in SoCal, right? So we don't get any of that stuff in LA. But I gotta ask, do you guys have alligators everywhere, or what's up with that?
100%, dude. There's alligators a couple hundred feet from this where I'm sitting right now, man. We go down there and to the river. I live right at the river. And
you live down by the river or at the river?
I'm in a van by the river, man.
You're down by the river?
I'm in a van down by the river, man. No, I live close to the river, man. Close to the river. Yeah.
So do you ever get sketched out that alligator or crocodile?
Oh yeah, all the time, man. You know, my mom lived in Ocala, and she would send me pictures of alligators that would get in her hot tub. And so
no,
yeah,
man. Can I cuss on this? I don't know if I can cuss on your podcast.
Yeah, you can cuss. Oh, fuck yeah. Shit, yeah.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Right.
Yeah. So yes, you can.
Thank you.
But yeah, you're welcome, man. Cuss anytime. Of course, it might be beef later, but depends on the severity of the cuss word. There's,
right.
There's limits.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I try not to cuss, as you guys know, but yeah.
So, we were talking, and I'm going to bring this back up, man, because I just think it's interesting. We were talking before the interview, man. You had some really unusual experiences on the road, man. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
That's right. Yeah, last time we were on your show, it was me and Travis from Second Shooter, and we were going on as support for Second Shooter on our winter tour in October. And that was so much fun. Shout out to Travis and everyone in Second Shooter.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
my gosh, those guys are amazing live, man.
They?
Oh, gee, they're so freaking good. And so we did that whole thing. But yeah, man, there was some weird. I don't know about you guys in New Mexico, man. Florida kind of scares me, but New Mexico.
Well, we got Sasquatch and crap like that running around down here. So
yeah, you guys got some squatchies going on. Yeah.
Squatchy.
So I get over there, right, and never. I mean, we passed through New Mexico, but we never played 4 different dates in New Mexico. But I mean, aside from that, hey, the people, I love all you guys, man. I am Dine and Paiute, and I love you guys over there, man. The Navajo, you guys are awesome.
That's great, man. I don't know if you knew this, but there's a lot of musicians that have Indian ancestry that really made it quite large. I'm trying to think of what their name is. You know what I'm talking about? There's a couple of big bands that were Indians. They
Chuck Billy from Testament, he's native.
Man. Right.
Who else? Not Castillo. Was it not the Castillo guy who played for Ozzy, the drummer?
Yeah.
Was it Randy?
Right.
I forgot his name. He's Native American. He died of cancer. There's been several. A lot.
Wow, that's really cool, man. Well, you know, I
I don't
think
know where they
music
all
is
are.
in the blood, man. Anyway, you know.
I don't know where they are in SoCal because I'm usually the only one. So that sucks unless we go to Frisco or something like
Yeah.
that, right? But
Well,
yeah,
I think
I love New Mexico. It was so much fun. But we had some weird stuff happen, man, guys. I mean, it's the land of enchantment, so we all know that, right?
yeah, right.
So we're over there, and there was a few weird things that happened, right? Like we played in Albuquerque, and so we were killing some time, and I don't know, there was just like this weird negative vibe. And I think it was in a place called Old Town. You guys in New Mexico, drop a little something if I'm using the right term. If I'm wrong, please tell me. But I think it was called Old Town, right? And it had all
Yeah.
these pre 1800 artifacts and little shops and stuff that they did
Isn't that like
for
a Wild
Albuquerque.
West town? Like it's like a
Yeah,
yeah, I've
well,
been there,
certain parts of
man.
it. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
certain
I've been
parts of it
there.
called Old Town, but like every other shop was like witchcraft, occult stuff,
Really?
and yeah, I just got weird vibes, man. And hey,
Wow,
if
man.
that's your thing, that's cool. I don't
Right.
judge anybody for what they do, but for me,
Sure.
I got some weirdness, so like I had to skip out of there. I don't know, you know,
Man, I totally get that, man. You know, I think that maybe musicians are tapped into a little something else. Maybe that's what gives us the ability to create lyrics and music to begin with, that we've got sort of a connection there, man. You know what I mean?
I think so. I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
what are we, left brain or right brain? I forget what we are,
Yeah.
but
I'm
yeah,
back brain,
we're not
but yeah.
complete. Yeah, we're not completely wired correctly.
Yeah, that's for
That is
sure, man.
that is for sure.
You can ask
Yeah,
any
and
musician and they'll tell you that.
that's
No,
right. And
but I
singers are
think
the
it's
worst.
true though, you know, because I've heard this before. You tell me, because I know that you write some lyrics. A lot of people say that they channel lyrics, you know, like clear your
Really?
mind, maybe think of a thought, and the
Wow.
lyrics just seem to come as if somebody's giving them to you. And there's been many of bands that talked about that, famous bands, man.
Wow.
Rolling Stones and some others that talked about how that channeling seems to happen, man. So maybe there is something to it, you know?
I will say, yeah, yeah. Well, I can see that. Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
I
maybe.
there's been times when I've had that, but it also depends on who I'm writing with. I think that at
Yeah,
least for me, because I tend to write with other singers or other
yeah,
people in the band.
right.
So
That's a
it
little
kind of
different
depends on.
scenario. Yeah.
Right, and they might come with an idea, or I come with an
Mm-hmm.
idea, or we're looking like an overall
Yeah.
theme for the track, whatever it happens to be. So, and we just released a new song. Hopefully, you got it there, called
I did,
Fire.
man. I was listening to it before I got a hold of you, man. Before you chimed in, I was listening to the track. Unbelievable stuff, man. It's so exciting.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah. Well, that was recent. Now that one I had done all by myself, but that one kind of taps into the whole. Gosh, it's gonna sound like dorky to you guys out there. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. I love the dark shit. But this particular song, Fire, it kind of taps into um, getting rid of the past.
Yeah,
Maybe when
right.
you're a kid, you think you're stuck in one thing, and then as you get a little older, right, 18, 20, you start
Yeah,
realizing maybe you've done some shitty things to people or shitty things
yeah,
to yourself, right?
right,
And you hang on to that. And that's not cool, right? Because
right.
that's just not cool to beat yourself up all the time. And I notice, like, I don't know if you guys are like me out there, man, but I can be very hard on myself.
Yeah.
I can be very hard on myself. I can be
Mm-hmm.
very unforgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And Fire was about letting that go,
Yeah.
right? Fire is about a cleansing, getting
Mm-hmm.
rid of that past, and
I like
acknowledging
it.
that, yeah, maybe we have done some bad things, but I don't have to hang on to that. I can forgive myself. I can do something better. So that one was written by me. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that was inspired by. I think I do like I do like what Steven Tyler does, with just like have nonsense lyrics when I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to put something together, and then I'll eventually write the actual lyric that goes where it's supposed to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of do that. But this is a theme that kind of kept coming up for that particular thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that was that. I liked it.
I think we all come to that differently in the studio, man. And one of the great things about what I do is I get to talk to all these bands and kind of pick their brain and, how does that work for them? How do you go from words on a static piece of paper in a cold instrument sitting there and make it come alive? You know what I mean?
Oh,
And what's
sure.
that process, for you and for other people? What do you think that process is? Do you think it's more getting the lyrics and then matching it with the tune, or getting the tune and matching it with the lyrics, or is it something in between there?
For us, it just kind of depends on the particular tune we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
or at least maybe that's for us. Like, we might come up with some lyrics, whatever it
Yeah.
happens to be, and then hum the lyrics to ourselves, and then maybe, oh, that's an interesting, a C chord to a D to a E, or whatever it happens to be,
Yeah.
and then we start doing it like that. But it could be a drum thing. I mean, for us, there's just kind of like whenever the inspiration happens, but it's not quick. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there are, I take my hat off to those guys who can write, really popular songs in 15 minutes. I wish I could
Yeah,
do that,
man.
but you don't want to hear my songs after 15 minutes. You'll start thinking
That's
I
hilarious.
drive I'm on the little yellow school bus. And you see what I do, you go, damn, how'd he get signed? Yeah,
Right, man.
yeah, that's not right. So, and no, but it usually takes me a while, and then I mean, well, honestly, and I'm sure you've done this too. By the time you get into the studio, you might lay the track down, but then you're not happy with it, so you
Oh yeah.
tweak this or you tweak that, and then the mixing and the editing and the mastering. Then there's a whole bunch of other things. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what we lay down and what we end up with, there might be
Yeah.
20, 30 different variations of that before the
Yes.
public hears what we put
Right.
out.
That's
So,
that's really it. I bet I have at least 300 songs that are almost done, and I'm going to go
right,
back and finish them real soon, but they're not ready. But
right.
you go through those, and then you get to the handful that you think are right. And then maybe
Yeah.
the two or three that are the best. And I don't know if you do it this way, but this attrition is what I call it. Seems to work for
Hmm.
me because I will, man. I don't know if you do this, but I'll do lots of songs, and then I'll play them all back like a week later, and
Yeah.
I'll go, "Oh, that's terrible," or "That's
Yeah.
great." But when you do it the next day, or even that day, you can't tell. You actually got to take a breather and come back. I mean, that's kind of how I
100%.
yeah, that's how I've been,
Yeah.
man, because it's like getting drunk or something. The next morning you wake up with a hangover. With this,
Right.
oh, that was great. No, what? But that's
Right.
part of the
You start
process.
listening and it sounds like you crapped yourself, or I don't know. It
Yeah,
doesn't
man,
sound
right.
good.
How does that
Like,
happen?
did I
I
do
think
that? Oh shit! I better delete that.
I think that's a
That's
lot because
horrible.
our music is like children, man, and we just love them no matter what they do or how they sound. But as they mature and as you get away from them, you come back, you go, man, oh, that's not what I thought it was, or at least wasn't in my head. But it's still a process, and it's an amazing process, really, that everybody gets to a little bit different. But that's what creates
Right.
all of these different sounds and all of these different vibes and things like that. That to me is the core of the independent scene, man.
Yeah.
It's alive.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's alive. There's
So,
been a lot with. Yeah, go ahead.
do you want me to tell you what happened in New Mexico after
Yeah. Oh
that?
yeah. Tell me what
Oh,
happened there. Right.
okay. So we're driving, and our driver sees we're going from Gallup to Albuquerque, and this is during the daytime. And our driver was stone sober,
Yeah.
just coffee, not on meds or anything. Sees the shimmering, what he thought was two people walking in the desert towards the highway. Couldn't see
Wow.
them, but it wasn't hot because it was during our winter tour. But they were shimmering. They were
Wow.
shimmering, and I was like, "That is crazy." So that was the
What?
one weird thing. So then the second weird, the next day we went out to Farmington to do a day out there, and so like yeah, we saw two people in the desert eating pizza, I was not going to stop for them. I mean, this is like way out. You guys in New Mexico going, if you live in New Mexico, you're going to Farmington, that's the Navajo Nation out there. There are certain things you don't do. You don't whistle at night, right? If you hear a voice, you don't answer back. There's certain things you don't, like, now I know you don't do that. So we're heading back, right? And we finished our set. We're driving back to Gallup on whatever road that is there from Farmington to Gallup. And maybe about 12:45, 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm driving. I am sober, just coffee. And no joke, no fences, there is a white horse, a full-grown adult white horse on the side of the road near the highway. If it took 2 steps, I would have hit it. It is out there in the dark, the pitch
out there
black
in the middle
dark,
of nowhere, man.
In the middle of nowhere, no fences, no nothing, no other horses, no other traffic. A white horse. It turns around. MF has red eyes.
What, dude?
Red eyes.
Sick. No way. Dude, that's far out. But you know what, man? I think things like that can happen, man. That may have been like a spirit horse or something like that. I don't know, man.
If it was, I don't know why it showed itself to me. So I was like, oh my God. Like, I was thinking something happened and maybe I should pull over. And my drummer says like, no, hell no. So,
I would have been keep driving, bro.
I don't know what that was, but it was
too many scary movies, man. You don't stop. This is where the headless horseman comes out.
Red eyes.
Keep driving, man.
Right. So then we get on the freeway back to Gallup, and there are this light. I don't even know how to explain it, right? So I mean, I don't know if it's aliens or not, but I don't know what this thing was. I'm driving, and there was a light. I'm in the driver's side, and you can see my hand right here. Whee! And so the light is, I'm in the driver's side of the vehicle I'm in right now. The driver was, the light was coming towards us. There was maybe one or two cars on two lane highways, and we thought, oh, maybe it's a helicopter, but we could not hear any helicopter noise.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, look on the ground. Maybe it's looking for drug dealers. Maybe it's looking for poachers. No lights on the ground, no nothing. It just matches our speed, comes in, goes back out, and then goes across the windshield to the passenger side, comes close, drops back out, and then, I don't know, dude, the only way I can put it is like I blinked and it was gone. Like it was out of sight.
Whoa.
Like it just, either it took off or I don't know what happened, but it was gone. And I was like, that is the trippiest shit. That is the trippiest.
That is far out, dude.
Have you ever seen any weird stuff like that?
Oh, yeah, dude. There was a few years ago, I lived in Gulf Breeze, right? And I was driving home from the beach one night, and I looked out over the water, and there was something really weird out there. It was like this glowing, lighted up, kind of almost like a chandelier, I guess you could say that, but it was definitely not of this world. I didn't think, and I kept looking over at, I'm driving, I'm going, what the heck is that? And I'm thinking it's a sign or somebody messing around. Anyway, I go home, and the next day it's all over the news and pictures of it on the newspaper. And it's a major sighting of a lot of people. You can look it up. It's the Gulf Breeze UFO sighting. Check it out. You'll see what I saw. There's a picture of it. Man, it just blew me away. I was like, man, that's me, because I lived right there in that Bay area right there. I worked at the Stuckey store on I-10 as a young man. And that's when it happened when I was young. But yeah, man, I've seen stuff like that. I also follow like Bob Lazar, and I was watching a documentary before the interview, man, and it was really tripping me out because
S4, right? That new show, the new movie that came out.
Yeah, man. And if you listen to it, the dude's got a theory. Okay. I'm just going to entertain you real quick and we're going to get back to the music thing. But I just got to tell you, I got a theory. Okay. Look, check this out.
Okay. What's the theory, man?
A lot of people don't realize that this is not the first iteration of Earth. And not only Earth, but the sun. In fact, your sunglasses, the gold on your ring, whatever you have, those elements are created when a sun explodes. It's the only way to make it. They don't happen on Earth. It's not a geological process. So what I'm telling you is there was a sun and potentially, more than likely, Earth's in a previous time frame. Eden.
Yeah.
Okay, now check this out. Here's what'll trip you out. What if these things aren't biological? What if they're mechanical? Because you think
Why
about,
not?
yeah, because you think about, well, they come from some other solar system or some other galaxy. That's actually improbable. It's more likely that they've been here. And that's what Bob Lazar was saying, is that they may be under the ocean. There's all these US. And now, of course, they're coming out with that there certainly is this releasing of information about UFOs that Donald Trump's going to release. So, there's more evidence to that. But my point is, if we took all of our, if some natural disaster was to come to the earth like a meteorite, how would we protect ourselves? How could we extend humankind? There's really only one way. We'd have to create machines and store DNA on the moon in order to survive. And you see, the moon's not a natural satellite. It's not from here. It was introduced.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of facts to that. But my point being is, I think they're not from a different solar system. I think they're leftover mechanisms from the world that was here before that they've been here waiting. And a lot of people refer to them as the Watchers in the Bible. So there's a lot of evidence, and even in lots of different cultures, they talk about ant people, and these people came from the sky and gave them technology. So I think there's a lot to that, man. I think maybe that we're on the edge of finding out what all that stuff is, man. So
yeah. I mean, it's
say,
hard.
see, I told y'all.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe even a little more common sense. Like anything that was here even 5,000-10,000 years ago is going to be dust or rust. There'd be no.
Yeah, there would be no. Well, a lot of people don't
really
know this. Check this out. I just got to tell you this. 40 years ago, they found a new archaeological site in I forget where it's at. I know what it is. I can't name the name of the town. But the thing about it is, this was discovered and dug up, and whoever did this buried it intentionally. But here's the trippy thing. It's 12,000 to 13,000 years old. In fact, it's the oldest archaeological site on planet Earth.
Oh, you're talking about a Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah, Göbekli. That's it. I couldn't remember it, man. I'm old.
Göbekli, yeah. Potbelly Hill.
So here's the thing about Göbekli. If you take right now, see, every time the moon goes across, it changes its angle a little bit. It takes 13 to 23,000 years for an entire cycle. So one cycle ago was 13,000 years that the moon aligned with. Currently, it from Göbekli Tepe, it rises in Israel and sets in Mount Arafat. So the moon comes to rest on Mount Arafat. So anyway, that's the dude's stuff.
That's the dude's stuff.
Yeah,
okay, so the last cool thing. Well, this wasn't weird. This was cool in New Mexico. Again, shout out to all you guys over there in New Mexico. That was so much fun that last night for that tour in November.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh my gosh, we got to head back there. So the last night, and I thought this was kind of cool. So it's a festival, and we're doing our sound check, and I see this little boy on his dad's shoulder while we're doing our sound check in the afternoon. We don't go on till like 9-10 o'clock at night. And then if you ever been to a Fantom Fire show, I do the whole. I put a whole bunch of stuff on, so come out if you haven't seen us play live. And so he had earmuffs on, and so yeah, it was pretty cool. I noticed it because in my band, if we see kids or anything like that, small kids, we tend to give them a little bit of extra stuff, whether it's hats, beanies, shirts, stickers,
right,
whatever we have, just because we like kids, and I don't remember anybody doing that when I would go to an Ozzy show or a Van Halen show. Nobody does that for us, but we like to do that. So
I think there's a big difference between seeing independent bands. These are bands that you can talk to, man. You can come up to after the show, and it's a completely different level, man, than some big concert. Yeah.
Well, I hope I never get to that point where I won't talk to a child or talk to
right
someone
on.
who has needs, right? And
Yeah.
I still remember a story about Dio where I guess someone saw him live in London, and then I guess the audience member couldn't get a ride home, and he had to wait there, and Dio had asked him, "Hey man, what's going on? You okay? Your car break down?" And he said, "Oh mate, the bus took off and I'm here." And and Dio brought him on the bus and took him to where he needed to go, and gave him some food. And I thought, oh man, I hope I never. That's cool, right? And some of the bigger bands that we played with, like all of their people are great, right? Alice Cooper, awesome, nice guy. Let's see, Michael Sweet from Stryper, also a super nice guy, just a nice man, very approachable. None of these people are mean, and it's so cool to see that, right? Sully from Godsmack, also nice guy. Nuno Betancourt from Extreme, super nice guy. They're just really nice men, and they don't need to be. They just are that way. So
They just are, right.
They just are. So we finish our set. We're loading out, as you do at the end of the show. Bands have to load out. We just don't jump into the limo and gone for you guys out there in Radio Land. So we have to get our stuff loaded up and ready to go. And this gal walks up, a Native American gal, very attractive. And I thought she was going to come up for something, but she says, "Hey, could my son meet you?" And we're like, "Oh, of course, right?" I didn't know who the kid was.
Yeah.
So she brings up her son, and guess who it was? It was that little boy with the earmuffs on his dad's shoulder.
Yeah, there you go, man.
And I was like, wow. And it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, almost 2 o'clock in the morning. And this little boy waited from our sound check at 2 in the afternoon till 1 o'clock in the morning. That's almost 12 hours. And
he stayed up later than he would for Santa Claus. I just want you to know that. He was in bed at 10 o'clock for Santa, but he's going to stay up for Fantom Fire, man.
Yeah, and this is a toddler, so maybe 5, 6 years old. And I thought, wow, how did you get your dad to stay this late? But met him, took a knee, and I still had my face painted and all my stuff going on. And I said, "Thank you so much for coming out. What can I get you?" And thank your mom and dad and all that good stuff. And he whispers in my ear, "You're real?" Like he didn't think I was real. He thought I was. I don't know what he thought I was. Some kind of
funny, man.
Indian spirit or whatever he thought I was. And I was like, yeah, of course I'm real. And I thanked him and I gave him a hug, and we gave him some shirts and beanies and all that stuff.
That's great, man.
But I thought for him to wait like that, I found that inspirational. I found that I could affect a little kid.
Yeah.
So, maybe he'll take that little seed that I planted and then turn it into something else, right?
Oh, you bet, man. I guarantee he's not going to forget that, man. There's no way he's going to forget that.
Well,
man.
I hope
he'll
not.
grow up with that image.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope that he sees 100%. That there's other, and my culture is important to me. So I hope he sees that other Native American men are out there making music and being good entertainers, just being good men. At least that's my hope that he sees that.
And
so
I'm sure
that
he
was
will.
Amazing.
And we were talking about how many artists there really is in the music scene that are Native American, man. I mean, there's a surprisingly huge number of bands, and a lot of people that you probably wouldn't recognize, or think that way. But yeah, there is, and there was a lot of people that played on tracks for other bands as well that were Native American, as different band members. So, man, I think that there's more to that, and I think ultimately that a lot of people can be very creative, and I think Native Americans are very creative. Would you agree with that? I mean, I'm not a Native American, obviously, but would you agree with that that there's a certain amount of artistic in there that isn't really with a lot of people?
I would definitely say so. Yeah, we tend to, I don't know, we tend to also operate on this spiritual plane that I can't really explain it. We just tend to operate on a little bit more spiritual plane, and
Right
and I
on,
can't.
man.
And that sounds very Angloized right there. But I'm probably using the wrong
Yeah.
vernacular for that. But we tend to operate a little bit more on
No,
a
I could totally
different
see
plane.
that, man.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
totally can see that, man, a little bit more in tune to the spiritual side of
the
things.
spiritual side. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
man.
bigger picture, the
Yeah.
love and peace, and
Right.
we have different names for different things that we experience, and if you're out there in Radio Land and you want to know about our culture, look it up, man. And if you go up to someone, you're more than welcome to ask. They'll probably want to get to know you first before they start telling you every little thing that we
Yeah.
know that you know. But
Sure.
we're really good people. Big hearts,
Man, I think I would have really liked to have lived in
except for the
those
Ojibwe.
years where, and I tell my wife this all the time. I said, why can't we go back where I just hunt and fish all day and you stay at home and cook? That would be
Oh,
great. I'd like to go back to those days, man. Just can you imagine though, dude? What's your day every day? Well, we're gonna go hunt and we're gonna go fish. That's what we're gonna go
long
do.
story. Long story short, you slept on the couch for how many days after you said that to her?
Yeah, it didn't work out very well, man. By the way, that's not good advice, by the way, if you're listening. Not good advice to say, but she knew I was kidding, so it wasn't like that. But you know what I'm saying, though. It really,
Yeah.
if you think about it, it's a very natural state of living.
Mm-hmm.
When I was young, I lived up in West Virginia, and I hunted for food, not just for sport. I mean, dude, I used to eat squirrels. Like that was part of our diet. You know what I mean? Because that's what
Mm-hmm.
you had. You know what I mean? It was hard times. And so much so that in my dining room table, and if you're listening out there, you'll know that I'm telling you the truth because we used to keep a little bowl for the buckshot that would be in the
Mm-hmm.
squirrel and the other game that we would have. You'd be eating,
Right.
oh, ping.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll tell you, those days for the dude were my favorite time because man, I was in the nature every day. I was hunting every day, and I loved it, man. I wish that I could just do that every day, just to be out in nature in the wild. Part of that, man, it was just a great experience, man. Yeah, I'm sorry to it's getting me more about my stories, but I just got to tell you this one real quick. One time I was in West Virginia in the middle of wintertime, and I came across a clearing, and it was a bunch of trees that were all kind of next to each other, so it made like almost like a church. It was all iced up, right? And this doe came out, and I had my gun, and I raised up on her, and she was just a few feet. And what struck me, she didn't run away. She stood right there and looked me dead in the eye. So much, in
Wow.
fact, that I really couldn't shoot her. And I
Mm.
lowered my gun, and she turned and she walked right up to me, man, just like face to face. And my heart was pumping, dude, because I thought she was going to try to attack me. And I didn't know what to do. And then all of a sudden behind her, a fawn come out and was bouncing around.
Ah, there you
And
go.
I'm
Yeah.
like, and the look was like, thank you. We shared something, right? I never had that experience ever with anything like that. But then there's something happened,
Yeah.
right there. It was incredible, man. It was, so I get
A
that, man. I get
connection,
that about,
a little connection with nature.
yeah, man. It's incredible. And I think we miss a lot. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
Yeah.
besides that
Sure.
stuff, so what's going on, man? Now you just released this album, and is it fully released? What's the status
No,
on the
no, you
music that
you
I
got a
got?
little snippet. You got a little snippet of one of your tracks. So listen up, you guys. I believe the dude will be having that on this post here.
Yes, I will
At
be.
some point, you'll be listening to that.
Yeah.
And then we have a new lineup now. So with Fantom Fire,
Oh,
we got a new. Yeah, I actually have a rhythm guitar player this time. So it's not just me doing
oh,
everything.
yeah.
A good friend of mine, Nick, and then our bass player Scott, and our drummer Derek. Just three really awesome dudes. And this is our first track that you'll be able to listen to. And yeah, we have some other stuff coming up in the mix. Still working on with the producer and the engineer to edit that stuff. But yeah, it should be coming out here shortly. It's really good. It's nice not being, and this is for you musicians out there. it's nice not being limited by musicians who can't play what you're thinking. I love a musician who knows theory, who has experience, who is willing to take chances and, hey, let's see if this works. I love that. So I have those guys now, and that's been a good change. I'm not used to it, and it's pretty cool. Love it.
That's really exciting, Will, because it all gets down, man, to how you gel, as a band. I think that's a big deal. I just got done with an interview with a band called Styron from Sweden right before this one. And we were talking about how the same things happened to him, that he feels like he finally got the right team, the right members, and the right mojo and the right connection with people. And it seems like that's so important. Wouldn't you agree with that? That is 100%. Just like almost the most important thing, man.
Yeah, because I mean, you can perform with someone for 30, 40 minutes, an hour, but then, if you're on tour like we are, what do you do with the other 22 hours?
Yeah.
I still got to hang out with you. I'm in another state where I don't know anybody except you. Yeah, we better get along. So, yeah, I would 100% say, yeah, you got to have a good hang, man. You got to be able to like each other, respect each other, Yeah, that is hard. I won't joke. Yeah, that is.
It is. It's maybe one of the hardest parts. Yeah. Keeping a band together is like herding rabbits.
I call it herding cats.
Yeah, herding cats, same thing. Rabbits, cats, same thing. Yeah, they're, maybe cats even worse. But that's a big part of it, man. And once you find the right people, it's amazing how the magic can happen at that point, and so many bands search and never find that. And the really lucky ones are the ones that finally find those brothers, that can complement and get into what you're trying to accomplish and get behind it, which is another big thing. I've been in too many situations where, I had a drummer, he wanted his own thing, and the bass player his own thing, and then nobody's on the same page. And that was always a struggle for me, man, as
right.
So tell me a little bit more, man, about do you have a tour coming up this year already planned, or you guys just trying to knock this out in the studio now?
Well, we're doing a fair amount of playing, so we got shows all the way up through December. So we do have most of the mixes down. It's just a matter of kind of editing it. We want, there's no pressure this time for this particular EP. I think the last time we were on with you, we had just gotten signed with Curtain Call Records, and shout out to John, Kevin, Gigi, everybody over at the label. You guys are awesome,
Curtain
man.
Call, man, they rock. Yeah.
And so there was pressure to get that right, but with this one, there's no pressure. So we're just kind of taking our time with it. We want it to be a good product. We want you guys to like it. We want to like it ourselves, right? Because we're doing this for us.
Yeah.
So we're just taking our time.
Don't you feel like that's so much a better situation, man, that you got your first album out, and there's so many times that second album comes out and is the real killer, because you kind of went through all those kinks on the first one, but now you're ready. Now you're hungry. You're hard, and you're ready to make that happen, man. Do you feel like that's what's going on now?
I think that's what's happening. And then also you kind of you figure out what the secret sauce is. Yeah. Because you went through it the first time.
Right.
And there's not as much of a headache, because I remember that first interview, like how many engineers and producers and we're based in Los Angeles. So, every stereotypical story about getting ripped off and screwed over by engineers and producers, that's all true.
Hey, that's all true. Huh? There's probably like shops set up everywhere on the strip that you could go and get ripped off. Come here, get ripped off.
Man, I could tell you some stories with people you may have already interviewed or on really big labels, and they're some of the worst. So we had to learn the hard way. So we have a good engineer and producer now, and again, a good man. he keeps his word, he does the work, and he knows the vision we're going for. So,
Right.
we're going to stick with him. Great guy.
That's awesome, man. So let me ask you this. Let's say that everything starts to really cook for you guys. You get this next album out and the sales just go nuts, right? And everything's happened. You got plenty of money. Money's no longer an option. And the only thing that you have is what to do next. What would you do next, man? If that was happening, what direction would you take the band? Would you tour? Would you go back into the recording studio? Would you do something else? What would you do? If you had no limits.
No limits?
No limits.
I don't know. Maybe open a KFC or something like that.
Go to Disney World? Yeah.
No, I don't know, man. I don't know. I like all.
Well, I guess the thing is, do you like to tour, man? Is that you think that would be the best thing, or do you like to be in the studio? Tour.
I love to tour. We right now we have an offer to tour Japan right now, but I don't know if we want to do that just yet.
Yeah.
But there's offers coming. Yeah. That'd be great. That would be great to continue on and doing what we're doing. I always got to be working though, man. I don't know. I'm just from that old stock, I guess, where I always got to be doing something. I get too squirrely just sitting around. Right.
Well, so imagine the scene where music is essentially the work, but that's all you had to do every day, man. I think a lot of musicians would love to find themselves in that position. Or do you think that other challenges are rewarding that you're into, that you would want to continue to do those things? I guess what I'm trying to ask you is, do you think that in your life you can make that full transition to full-time musician?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, but that takes work. Obviously that takes a lot of work for that to happen, and we're in our second year of that. So
yeah,
I think if we're sober-minded about it and approach it as a business and continue to make steady progress, we can be it. We can. Oh yeah, for sure we can get there.
I agree with that, man. You guys are good. You're already on your way, man, and you're a seasoned band, and if you're listening out there and you're looking for, number one, for great music, this is your hookup right here. Come to American Metal Magazine. There'll be a link. You can check out their latest tracks. You can see a little bit of a music video that we're putting together on this interview. You should be already have watched it, but you can go there and find out more about them. But also very important, if you're listening out there, you can't imagine the love and the work that goes into making music. So if you're listening out there, do all of us a favor and buy their music, support these bands, support independent music, and get out and visit them. So do you have anything coming up in the next couple of weeks, a gig that you're going to hit, or anything exciting about to happen?
Be playing May 15th in Pomona, California. We are playing out there. And then I believe June 5th we're in San Diego. So, concentrating in California right now. But yeah, that's what we got coming up. Working on a couple more music videos. So, go to fantomfire.com, the socials. You can download our stuff on Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, kind of wherever you can find Fantom Fire. Yeah, give us a like, give us a follow. If you have a question about gear or anything, hit us up, man. We'll be happy to answer that stuff. I get questions about how I do certain guitar solos and whatnot.
Right. Yeah, man.
Hey, I borrow stuff from other people, whether it's Steve Vai or Joe Satriani.
Right.
I'd be happy to show you how I did the technique, and it's just like anything else. You just go really slow, and then eventually you get quicker at it.
Get better and better at it. Yeah, man. That's
better.
Really
Yeah.
What it is.
Yeah.
You just have to
that's
work
what we got
through
going
that.
on right now. Yep.
Yeah, man. That's it. Well, hey, before we get out of here, brother, is there anybody that you'd like to shout out to or say hi to?
Yeah, give me a shout out to Derek at home, the drummer. He had some surgery on Thursday.
I'll get to feeling better,
Scott.
man.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Scott playing bass. Shout out to Nick. I think he's helping. The one thing I love about Nick, who's the rhythm player, he also teaches kids with developmental disabilities how to play music.
Man, that is really cool.
I forgot I forgot to mention that. So Nick
I like
Chandler,
that.
dude, you're an awesome man, and I'm so happy that you're with us and that you teach these kids how to appreciate music and teach them that they
Yeah.
can have a goal. So
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. But yeah, shout out to Brian, shout out to John and Kevin, all you cats, man, you guys are just awesome helping us out and working for us, and all our family and friends, everyone who supports us, and most importantly, our fans. You guys are so awesome. We couldn't do any of this without you guys coming to the shows, buying the merch, all of that. So thank you so much. Big hugs, big love. There you guys, man.
Excellent, man. That's an excellent shout out. Well, hey, brother, thanks again for being on American Metal Magazine. It was a real pleasure to have you back again, man. And I hope many more returns. Certainly
All right,
when you
man.
get the rest of this album released, man, let's do this again real soon and
Yeah,
have a
let's
good
check
time.
in here in a couple months.
Yeah, right on, man. Absolutely, man. We'll do it. We'll do it. But hey, before we get out of here, I'm going to get you to give me a big go AMM. Are you ready? On the three.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Go AMM!
Wow.